We were doing a shot of Baileys with lemon juice
Why are you making it curdle?
because we ran out of everything. We were taking it, we were faking it getting sick, kind of spit it on front of our station so it looks like vomit.
Oh my God.
That will empty the bar instantly.
I mean,
I don't know if you remember September 2019.
I drink way too much to remember too much with that bake.
Well, no, it wasn't a fast sampling situation, but
Oh, did I?
and then I had to go do a talk to the elementary school because my teachers were like, hey, would it be nice if you come, kids? Hi, how are you? Yeah, I used to go in that class, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, listen, kids, always.
Dario Doimo. Am I doing it right?
That's good.
Perfect.
Good.
An Agave Ambassador for Bacardi.
Yeah.
And, you know, you work a lot with Patron,
Correct.
and we've known each other for years.
Yes.
You were just telling me and reminding me because I picture knowing you since I've heard of you, because you know how someone's name carries weight before. When you're learning about this industry, you hear of the names like J.R. Starkis, Dario, and those names, when you meet that person, it's pretty cool for a bartender that actually cares about the craft. So becoming your friend and the fact that you actually remember our first meeting is pretty awesome. I'm really grateful.
Are we already on?
Yeah, we're started.
Oh, shit. Okay, cool.
I thought that you had a great laugh to start it off. Since we're talking a little bit about Bacardi products in general, and you said maybe we'll do the Bacardi Select or the Bacardi Superior. So what would you want for the Cuba Libre?
Surprise me. You know what? It's your bar. Go with with the feelings.
Well, you know, since I've never had it with the Bacardi Select, so I feel like I'm one of those people that enjoys the trying new things and seeing why have I not been doing this, or oh, that's why I don't do this. You know,
Let's do it.
and then so your standard when you do like a highball like this, you're still doing a like basically a 2-to-1 proportion.
Yeah, usually we do 1.5 ounces of rum, but you know, depends on what kind of night you had. I'm not opposed to 2.
Right, that's a good point. So that's 1.5 ounces, and you were saying the reason because I always ask what's the 3 cocktails or beverages or whatever that we want to talk about. Why did you select this as a starter?
Well, Cuba Libre, it's a lot of people ask me what is, you know, when you go out, what is your favorite drink to request at a bar or whatever. I'm like, it's 3 ingredients. It's very easy to make. And I really, really enjoy it. You know, it's a nice, easy, refreshing drink. You can have a conversation. It's not too pretentious. You know, there is not much to it, and it's easy. Most of the bar, they're able to do it as long as, you know, they use nice fresh limes that they're not look like kiwi that have been cutting for like a week and a half. And
Right, that pet peeve of bars I've not only worked at but consistently see always is, you know, you come in and they try to save the limes from the night before, and you're like, I don't know if you cut these at midnight, maybe I'd allow it. But
when I wasn't working in the casinos, I most of the time, especially when I was at the link, I was coming in and sometimes I see the fruit that has been there for a hot minute, and I just, you know, I told Tom Alley that we used to work together all the time. I'm like, hey, give me 10, and I just cut my whole fruit again. And there's nothing better than just be behind a bar working with nice fresh fruit that you can still smell it.
well, that makes me think of fresh juice programs and the difference. Paracone Farms is pretty consistently used out here. And working at different bars, your volume dictates what makes sense. And cheers, by the way, to an overdue hangout.
It's been in the making for a while, so
Yeah,
it's good to finally be here.
when did you start in the industry? Let's start there.
Oh boy, bartending. I think we go back to 2001.
Okay.
Like, yeah, because I was still working with my family. So my family owned an ice cream shop in Germany. So
Wow, I was expecting a different country for some reason.
no, you'd be surprised. Germans love ice cream.
Well, because I would have taken your accent and name for an Italian heritage of an ice cream shop in Italy.
Yeah, right. No, unfortunately not. But no. So we were doing seasons, right, from end of February till October. Okay. And then the rest of those months, you're just home 4 or 5 months. Depends on how the weather is as well, because it's too cold in Germany. So
What to sell ice cream?
Yeah.
Right.
So, and but
that's a seasonal job for real. That's interesting.
yeah. So when during the winter time, right, I was still in school, finish up my high school, and my brother and my dad, they were going around to see different conventions about new products and stuff like that for the upcoming season. And they come across it's called Planet One. It used to be an American bartending school, and they had a stand at this convention. And jokingly, my dad says, my brother, hey, why don't you go take a class? You have nothing to do still, so go have fun.
Yeah.
Little didn't know that he went and take the class. He came back, and they're teaching a lot about pour, like free pouring, no jigger. So there's a lot of mechanism about pour spouts and how to pour precisely correct from anywhere from a quarter ounce to 2 ounces, and like very consistently. So there's a lot of that. There is some a lot about the culture, about the bar, hospitality, and also a little bit about flair. So he came home and he showed me a little toss behind the back with a shaker. And I'm like, I look at him, like, what is that? And it's like, yeah, they do this thing. And we saw the movie Cocktail, right? Like most of everybody. And right. And I thought that it was just something that you see in the movies. It's not real life.
Right.
You see Tom Cruise on a TV throwing bottles. I'm like,
yeah, they're like dancing, throwing the bottles at each other.
There's no way that it's real life. That's some Hollywood situation. And that actually opened my eye to this is actually real. And from there on, I was just gone. That's it.
I want to say the reference to Cocktail. Not only do I love that movie, and it makes me think about this industry so much, and obviously some things are exaggerated or a little crazy, but it made me it does there are some things that are accurate, and there are those rush nights that they make you feel that rush from his side, that I thought they did a good job with. And that I love the line where at the very beginning where he's got the first time on the bar and someone ordered a Cuba Libre and he's just like looking through the book like to find it, and then he's like, rum and Coke. Why didn't you just say rum and Coke? And I always love that scene, and it kind of gave me this thing with cocktail names where I get it and I don't, because it's like when I have a person or like a young man that his father's obviously into cocktail culture or whatever, and they'll be like, can I have a Roy Rogers? And you're just like, you mean like a cherry Coke, And I always think, I'm like, man, this classy little kid knows cocktail names. And I mean, like, just like Olivia always says, the first cocktail that anyone had is a Shirley Temple, because it's basically a highball. Well, no, it's it's sort of a highball, right?
If you want to call it.
I mean, essentially. You have your garnish, you have your grenadine, which is pomegranate syrup, and then your Sprite. So it's like that build, and that's kind of the first cocktail that you fall in love with as a kid, and you don't even realize that it's sort of a mocktail.
It's funny that I did not what a Shirley Temple was till I actually came to America. We don't have that in Italy.
You don't have what?
Shirley Temples.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is pomegranate not something used a lot in Italy?
Nowadays, yes, but back in the days when I grew up, like, Coca-Cola was a thing that if I'm doing good during the week, I get a glass on Sunday.
Yeah.
Type of thing. We don't, it's not like you go out here and, you get free refills or whatever. There's not that culture over there. Like,
oh, okay. Okay. So soda drinking.
Yeah.
You don't get it. It's all bottles or whatever.
All bottles. Yeah. No
right.
fun.
One at a time. I mean, that makes sense.
If you get it, it's, usually you drink it and then you order another one, but you get charged for it. It's not.
Well, if it's a bottle, I respect it, especially if it's like
even if it's in the tower. And
do you do guns?
Yeah. We do guns, yeah.
Okay.
We got some technology.
Well, I mean, because you're saying like everything's bottle, so I'm picturing I hate the soda gun at most at bars.
Yes.
BRAMARE recently, I was using the soda gun, and it was one of those pains because there's so many things that could go wrong. Like there's keeping it clean, which it seems like such an easy task. It's so obvious, but it gets missed some nights, and sometimes like the chamber that is dropping beneath it to drain it doesn't drain, so it sits in like its own water, which is really bad. And then sometimes it's flat. You send something out, you don't know, or you notice, and you're just like trying, and there's so many little things. But when you have bottles, obviously it's more work. It's not when I worked at Gatsby's, they would beg to have the gun with sour mix and cranberry. And I was like, who the hell are you? Like, get that out of here. I don't like to use the gun for anything if I can help it, let alone like sour mix and cranberry are the noticeable, terrible flavors. And because people take no pride in Long Island iced teas, they want this. And a lot of people not look down on people, but a lot of bartenders do. They'll be like, Long Island iced tea. But if it's made well, I enjoy one. But when you have people that are high volume, they don't care about, a lot of bartenders, I should say, don't care about the quality of it. They care about, they just want a drink in their hand, get it out there, which is partially true. People do just want to have a quicker drink than necessarily. If you make a person wait 10 minutes, it doesn't matter how nice the drink is. They're a little annoyed by that delay. Because even like last night, I went out to dinner and amazing experience in most cases, in most of the sense, but it did take a while. We started, every time he would drop a drink, we'd be like, oh, we should probably order our next one because it's going to take 15 minutes to get to us, and that I'll be finished. And if I order it in 10 minutes, now I'll be 25 minutes without a drink, And
it's funny because if I look back to kind of like my career when I first started, back in the days, we don't have barbacks.
That makes sense. I mean, I've worked at a million places that don't. It's kind of concept, right?
Correct. Especially in Italy, there was not that concept of barback, and when we were doing everything. And I still remember we were working in this, it's a beach place, so it's a very tourism place in summertime, and it's packed. It's like 5 deep. They do thousands of people a night. Sweet and sour is on store and pour. All the juices are on store and pour. Like, you run out after less than like an hour. Like, we had there's 5 different bars, and there's the bar that I was worked at. It's still funny. It's a rectangular bar. There is about 6 stations total, 2 per side on the long side and then 1 on the short sides.
Okay.
So, but it's 1 of 5. So the place is huge. To do 15,000 people capacity. So yeah, it's enormous.
Okay.
And
well, now it seems like there's not enough bars.
Exactly. Come to a point that we running out of stuff and what we're gonna do because there is no bar back. So we had our thing that it's a shot of Bailey's. Because you can stop sometimes and take a group shot or whatever, right? To kind of, it's an Italian thing.
Yeah. What do you?
Raw service.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I knew I was Italian.
If the manager approves, obviously. But
right,
what we were doing, we were doing a shot of Bailey's with lemon juice.
Why are you making it curdle?
So here's the catch. We were taking it because we ran out of everything. So we were taking it, we were faking it getting sick, and we were kind of spit it on front of our station, so it looks like vomit.
Oh my God.
That will empty the bar instantly. So, and at that point, everybody had their duty. So one was doing straws, napkins, the other one refilled all the juices, the other one was grating ice, everybody was like, we reset the whole stations, clean up the vomit.
Yeah.
Bar is open, full again.
And people were just like, oh, they're just cleaning up the vomit, no big deal, we'll wait. All right.
Give a fuck. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Whereas here, there's going to be like letters written.
Ugh, yeah.
They're
different health department.
It's like throwing a Snickers in the pool.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I do appreciate the health department in a lot of ways, but then they have some stupid little things that could ruin a restaurant.
You have to have it.
You do.
But
because of some people that have done, like, they can be very harsh. And
they can
for things that have nothing to do with like food safety, really, and I'm talking
there's a lot of
little differences that, don't get me wrong, down to its minutia, they're not wrong, but some things are so over the top and unrealistic that they don't care that there's no possible way to make it happen. Like dump sinks, for example. Some bars just don't have enough sinks to have, like Gatsby's was a weird shape to not have every single well had in between them. There's like, so if there's 5 wells, there was 2 hand sinks for washing hands. And then there was 2 or 3 dump sinks. I can't remember, but it was constantly, they're like, no, you got stuff in that. You got a little bit of mint in the hand washing sink because it was on your hands, or well, let's say it is. And if there's any debris in the hand washing sink, that's a demerit on the health department. And you're like, well, if it was dirty on my hands and I washed my hands, Why does it matter what's in? Now, if the drain's overfilling, of course, it's a problem, but there's a few particles in there.
Right.
They can ding you for that. But what is the base of a hand washing sink? Why would I get a demerit? How does that affect anyone's health except for the fact that I was washing my hands? And I get that some people use them as a dump sink, and that sometimes is what happens. And you're like, well, there's nowhere else for me to throw it. So either I can use that as a dump sink, or I'm going to be throwing all this liquid in the trash. And they don't care, and they're right. Like, you need a hand sink, but sometimes you don't want to go to the other end of the bar where like the hand sink is. So there's some rules that can make it really hard to function. And obviously the majority of them, how to stack your fridge and all that stuff, that all makes sense. Putting, raw products on the bottom as opposed to fresh, ready to eat things at the very top.
But also, like, come on, man, some of those bars are very poorly designed.
Oh, that is a fact.
Working 4 different casinos, and I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Coincidentally, we just filmed with Livio two episodes ago, and he has the Euro Station, which is immaculate and beautiful. And we got into bad bar designs a little bit. And Gatsby's was like a Cisco bar, where Cisco has been in the business for years, and they're inexpensive and they work, but it's plug and play, and they're kind of generic and outdated.
But in a lot of ways, they look at how much space you have behind the bar, and they're like, all right, cool. Well, the station is this long. Trash can is, maybe this size. And they kind of like, oh, maybe we can put a trash can over there. We can put a hand sink over there. And I'm like, even at the link, when I worked at the link, I'm like, the bar was very, very poorly designed.
And that's though the problem is, it's very expensive to have the nice stuff and have it designed. You need a designer, and so Tobin Ellis bars are great.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you where to put stuff. So if the bar doesn't work right, that could be you not you, but I'm saying, here's a perfect example. Last bar I'm at, there's a Tobin Ellis foot pedal.
Mm-hmm.
I was explaining cockpit bartending, because most bars aren't made like a cockpit. They're made just like a rail, and the rail, and especially the more outdated they are, the more they don't think about the injuries that come from being a person that's buckling your knees forward, leaning forward, and every time you go to make a drink, or I should say serve a drink, you're leaning farther forward to put it in front of the guest, and then you're truly, and then your knees every few minutes of the night are going boop, and that's a huge injury that people don't even think about. Like, everyone thinks, you'll get carpal tunnel eventually if you bartend for 20 years, but you'll get the knee problem is something that no one thinks about, but happens to everybody that has those kind of rails. It's inevitability the longer you do this. So I love the style of a cockpit bar that makes you step into it, and it's sort of half around you. And I'm not, obviously I'm telling you more for our guests, but it's half around you. And the idea is that you shouldn't have to move out of your position too much.
Correct.
Whereas, the pedal at that bar, I basically could do this, hit the pedal because I want to wash the outside of my tins, and then hit the sprayer because it's a Tobin Ellis bar, so you got that cocktail sprayer.
Yep.
And and then I liked that, and I got really used to that, and I'm good at just moving my waist and sliding back.
But also, it kind of tells you, it's like, okay, cool, it's Tobin Ellis design, right? But because he used to be a bartender, he knows what's going on. He knows how to kind of make it a little bit more practical for the normal bartender that comes in. You know what I mean? There's some of the other stations out there that, like, literally, they have no clue what they're doing.
Well, Livio explained that the process of getting approved for that is a real pain with the NSF, because you need NSF certified stuff to be in restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
And he was explaining that every bolt and every design put into that piece of equipment needs to be approved, and
it's
verified.
Yes, for sure.
Licenses or whatever hoops that you have to jump through. So when I was like, I'd love to build a bar, and it sounded like so fun and cool. Right. And he's like, dude,
I can design my
own.
Not
a nightmare.
Like, yeah, it's
anything you want. If I get a bar tool that's going to go in a person's drink, it needs to be certified,
It's like the same concept where you're out with your friends, right? You have a couple of drinks up. Oh, you know what? We should open a bar. Oh, yeah, sounds great. We do, it's going to be amazing. And then you actually start getting into the details of what it takes to open a bar.
That's the funniest thing, because that really messes up the statistics for what I believe it's like they say 35% of bars make it. after, I don't know if it's after a year or in general, but that makes sense because of how many people that might have proximity to money and capital to get a restaurant, and they enjoy dining and they think they know what they're talking about. And you're like, dude, there's all the stuff that you're not supposed to know and see that goes on behind the scenes to make you have a perfect experience while you're dining.
Absolutely.
Once you're part of that, this all loses that luster and that love that you had for going out and having a great time. Now you think of a restaurant and a bar as work. I watch owner burnout constantly because I've actually helped open now. I want to say, I helped Gatsby's, huh? 8. I revamped Lorea's menu, and then they sold not long after the Vetri at the Palms, which was a second opening because they were open years ago, but then they closed for like several years.
For COVID.
Mm-hmm. And which that was where Coop was. Coop's going to be on the podcast soon, so we'll definitely go into that stuff. And then BRAMARE. And now my new option for where I might go.
Okay.
Well, so I'm going to start it for, I'm going to
speak.
Well, yeah, by the time this comes out, I'll already be started, but I started Ferraro's next week.
Okay.
Because BRAMARE closed, which was painful. And it wasn't because of we were starting to have a booming late night and it was really awesome. But so then I immediately talked with Jozef, the bartender over there, he's such a cool guy. If you're ever in town and you're in Vegas and you want a great meal, not even if I'm there, if you go to Ferraro's and you can sit with Jozef, his stories, and he'll show you pictures from his phone where he's with the Cocchi family.
Okay.
And there's like this huge long table, and it's like in Italy with the walls are like Francesco or whatever fresco style walls where there's like painting on the huge, like it's like a palace. And he's having dinner, and there's all these really ornate drinking glasses, and he's sipping vermouths, classic and aged 100-year-old stuff, and like crazy things with the family of Cocchi.
That's awesome.
That I was like, dude, what? Like, who has these stories? And you can go to Ferraro's on Flamingo and Paradise and see them and have an amazing time. And he was like, dude, it'd be so awesome if we worked together. And I'm like, yeah, it'd be a dream. And then BRAMARE closes, and he's like, so what about that dream? Like, are we gonna do this? And then the other place I was considering was Nudo, because Morton's is opening up sort of their first
Nudos.
NUDO, and they're opening up. It's Morton's Steakhouse is opening up their first Italian neighborhood concept. It's like a neighborhood bar. It's not meant to be like on the strip or a strip property. It's meant to be for locals. So I love that style personally. I'm getting to the age now where I want to see regulars. I don't care. A lot of people talk to me, and a lot of people that'll comment on our like social media channels that promote the podcast. A lot of people will talk about the money and, and I'm talking about things I do to go the extra mile.
It's a classic Vegas style.
Vegas thing. And I don't blame them. And it's sort of like not everyone gets out of it, but it's sort of an age thing where the older you get, the more you want your time to mean something. It doesn't necessarily matter if the person that's 10 years younger than me is making $1,000 a night and I'm making 400 or 300 or 200 or 150, which I've made all of those later in my career than I probably should. Like 150 a night is kind of hard to sustain when you own your house and all that stuff, trying to run a podcast that's at a deficit. And it's like, you're like, damn, we really need to get these numbers up in here. So that's another part of like opening, and something I really want to stress about opening restaurants that I cannot believe people have opened in the past, and then they do a new opening and they're mad after 2 weeks or a month that the money's not right. And you're like, dude, it's an opening. Like, if you've said you've opened, then you should know that they go marketing. Most companies do heavy marketing up front, and it looks like, oh, this is going to be awesome. Then they go to, they don't have the money to put into all this marketing anymore because it's not a brand new thing. And it dials back, and then you get a natural flow of business, but you're still not a known commodity in Vegas, especially because there's so many options that it's not like the restaurant that went in around the corner at a normal city that's not such a big metropolis with 1 million restaurants to choose from.
Right.
So it takes 6 months to have any concept of how the money's going to be for a service employee of any position in that restaurant. It takes time to get an identity. It takes time to get your groove. So it's like Friends and Family is a perfect example. So Friends and Family is a new restaurant opens up, and they want like 2 days on average of their friends and people that are going to support the restaurant probably no matter what, most likely, or they might be influencers, or they might be well-known people in town that you just want to make a good impression with. But then you invite them, and it can be a limited item, which I always recommend to be like a limited menu, because you're trying to prepare for every inevitability. And that's the point of a friends and family is going, okay, what's going to go wrong when we open the doors in 5 days? What didn't we think of?
The worst thing is to probably opening a restaurant, doing full menu, not limited the reservations, and just kind of like, sink or swim type of situation.
Because you inevitably sink.
And that is a sink 101.
And that honestly, that happened at the last open.
Like, you have,
it wasn't my fault. I didn't suggest it.
But you have, like, let's say, 200 seating capacity, right? Like, okay, let's start with 60 day one, or 50 even, you know what I mean? Like, exactly. Let's do 3 appetizers, 3 mains, desserts, whatever, whatever the menu, how is the menu structured or whatever, right? So the kitchen knows is a little bit more prepared, and they into day 2, flip the menu. Now we do other menu items. So the cook are, they're getting used to it, you know what I mean? And same thing with cocktails behind the bar. We have 8 cocktails on the signature menu. Cool. We're going to do 4 day 1. We're going to do the other 4 day 2. And then like slowly you kind of build it up. But, some places they just open the door. It's like, let's go, let's flat it.
Well, so this is a perfect example. BRAMARE opens, and they basically did exactly what you said. Here's the menu. Here's what we're going to be opening with.
Mm-hmm.
Pick some stuff. And there was no real limitations. And inevitably, the very small kitchen, we had a big, beautiful space, and then a very small kitchen. So that kitchen's getting crushed right away. And you're like, not only is that not beneficial, because that's not going to be how it is for the first few months unless you have some kind of special promotion going on, right. Or you're in the center of a hotel that has guaranteed traffic.
Right.
But you're not learning from this experience, because even the lessons that you could learn from all the mistakes that are going to happen when you overload something like that, your brain is got to go to the next task instead of absorbing why did this happen? How do we fix it?
But also another good way to do it will be, you already have menus at every table. Like you're coming, friends and family, you have a 4 top, okay? You're sitting down, this is the menu for this table. You have an appetizer, 2 mains, 2 splits, family style. And
so you're like menu A, menu B?
Menu A, then you have a 2 top, I have a different menu. So every table is trying something different.
Yeah, but you can't, but how many different menus can you have, right? Because you can't have menu A through F and have different menus out there.
Correct, exactly. You get menu A is going to be maybe just for the 4 top, right? Menu B is going to be for the 2 tops, or you can flip-flop it like that. But the kitchen knows they have a certain amount, it already knows what goes out.
Right.
There is no, there's no incognito situation. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, we need this amount of chicken, we need this amount of steak, we need this amount of whatever.
Right.
And
it's mostly reservations, but you can actually
plan. Okay, cool. Is, table 35 with, 6 top. Is it set? Right, perfect, cool. Fire table, and stuff comes out, family style. This is our, little by little. You don't have to push it full everything, order whatever you want. The kitchen's not used to it. Everybody's not used to it. You don't know the space, the measurement. Like, it's a lot of things that goes around when you open. So if you have, if you're able to have like set menu for all the tables, the chef already knows what's going on. So you just need, fire table 1, fire table 4. They know comes out, drop it, accept, our offer. And, you can try, maybe you have 3 cocktails for, table that they can try. So the bartenders knows as well what's going on. And you get...
what else is smart about that too? If you give them a full menu, and let's say you can handle that volume, right? Everyone orders whatever they want. Now, when they don't have to rush back, because they don't need to see what you did and what you changed, like for the next, in a month or so.
Right. The menu can be there as well. This is what our menu is going to be tonight. As a friends and family, we're still, adapting to it. This is our offering, and this is what the table get. Obviously, there is any allergy restrictions, there is this and that, will accommodate, but,
There's the 2 top watching the 4 top get like the suckling pig at their table, and they're like,
yeah,
the fuck, why wasn't that on our menu?
Come back in 4 people, man.
Wait, I want to have more friends, I don't know.
If you call somebody.
Well, that's another cool thing about, and I do like this topic because I feel there are so many places opening, which doesn't make sense because there's a ton of places closing. But I guess, the cycle continues. But these lessons that you could avoid easily, and again, we made that mistake at the last place. We also made the mistake of opening in July in Vegas. So if you know Vegas, that if you're at a pool, you're in good shape. They're going to make a ton of money. Right now, if you're at the Arts District, pretty booming scene. We went to Bartending. It was packed last night, and
Nice.
it was awesome. And we started at Nocturno. We passed Jammy which Shoemaker's working there now. And then we went to Liquid Diet, Liquid Diet's a very innovative, cool spot. My bouginess, it's not my favorite because the back bar is like a kit, or like behind the bartenders is like a kitchen setup. So it looks just like if you were back of house.
Right.
And that's fine, but I work back of house all the time. I'm in the back of house too much for me to want to go to the concept that features it. I was like, hey, half of the whole view is what you see for work every night. And you're like, oh no. So I don't, but again, that's me. If you're a guest that's never been, you're like, oh, look, we're in the middle of a kitchen. How cool is this? So I totally get it. And that plays to not making cocktails or concepts for your honed professional opinion necessarily. You're trying to mass appeal. This is a business.
Right.
So you have to take your ego and your likes out of it and think of mass appeal. So good on Liquid Diet. It's an amazing bar.
You ever seen Night at the Roxbury?
Yeah, it's been a while.
When they promote the outside club, inside club, when they're like, you could be on they put the club outside so that way when you're in line, you're at the club. That's what that reminds me of.
Oh,
I'll pull it up.
Like it's a club without of a club, but that's amazing. Yeah, I'm looking forward to remembering this because, God, that's such a classic. Things get dated, and then you rewatch them in the future, and you're like, "Damn, that was hard to watch this time around." So I do want to say another cool thing about the Cuba Libre. While we move on to the next cocktail, which we need to hear your story of how we come to the reason that we're going to be making the Negroni Bianco.
Okay.
But to finish up on the Cuba Libre, since I love to have a 2 hour or like 30 minutes to talk about one cocktail. It was made basically the first time it was really appeared was in the Spanish-American War. Soldiers were stationed in Cuba, and they brought Coca-Cola with them. Obviously, there's rum there, and limes are available, so blended that together, and it was a hit. And that's 1898 it started, so it was pretty cool.
Free Cuba.
And they would say, and that's Cuba Libre, so it's free Cuba. So I can imagine all the drunk people just be like, "Free Cuba!" Like, oh. So while I get you set up for the Negroni Bianco, tell me how that whole relationship, and I'm also going to pull out the Cristalino that you brought me. He has brought so many cool things that we're going to taste today. The Patron line, I just brought Cristalino.
A backpack, bro.
It was a full backpack. It was awesome. So I'm going to taste the Cristalino while I set it up, but I want to hear the rest of how it came and how you end up at Mr. Coco's. Where, and then we'll go beyond that.
So it's funny that story is kind of like So I met Francesco, I believe, was that, so officially I met him at a rematch, if I'm not mistaken, at Herbs and Rye. He was actually judging that night, and I was supposed to compete, but I came back from another competition in Japan, and I cut my finger very, very bad that I was kind of like on a splint, and I could not compete that night. So I still come to support. And that's when I saw Francesco for the first time. We knew each other, by name. Obviously, Francesco, it's, like living legend in Las Vegas. I had my name in the Flair community. So he's like, we knew of each other. It's just that we never had the opportunity to kind of meet in person. And that was the very first night that actually, I got to shake his hands and we, chit-chatted for a little bit. Fast forward, I was talking to him because I was brainstorming some recipe when I was competing, I believe it was in Tokyo for the IBA World Final. And thank you. And he invited me to the school. It's like, hey, if you want to try your cocktails or whatever, like you're more than happy to come to the academy. It was him, it was Livio was there. So I was making cocktails, different variation. They were tasting it. They were giving their opinion. And it was, it was very nice. Fast forward. We kept in touch, we went to a couple dinners together, classic Italian dinners. We show up at 6 and we close down the restaurant, drinking 20,000 bottle of wine and whatnot. No, but it's such a nice person, right? And in 2018, he decided to he left Southern and decided to open his own bar. And that's when he actually reached out. We went out for coffee, and then he asked me if I wanted to join the team. And, that kind of talked. I thought about it a little bit because I was, life was great. I was traveling, Flair competition, making great money. I was working in a casino for doing Flair, great money over there too. And then I'm like, I had this thing in the back of my mind when, we used to work in Italy in some cocktail bars, more like finesse, if you want to call it, right? So I went from working on a Flair bar serving cocktails in plastic cups to go Mr. Coco, where we had 31 different type of crystal glassware. So
wild, like a wild change,
super wild. And it's funny because
like being buttoned down at the
tuxedo and everything, and he's like, "Hey, if you want, you can Flair. I liked it." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? No. If I mess it up, this is like a $5,000 situation." So I'm like, "No." But that was actually what I really missed from the bartending aspect. It was like the attention to details, right? That Mr. Coco was, imperative in a sense. Like when I was closing down my station, it took me about like an hour and a half because everything is like mirror finish. So I have to, I have my like leather gloves, like wipe down everything. I'm like, I felt like when I was back in the ice cream shop in Germany because everything, all the fridges behind, usually they're like mirror finish. And I'm like, why? Just why? It's a pain in the ass to clean, and make it look nice with no streaks or anything like that. So Mr. Go was super, super nice. Unfortunately, it was short-lived because we were open for like a year and 3 months, and then COVID happened.
Now that I'm getting this ready for him, this is probably still not tall enough. But continue with that story as you slide over here, and then you'll make the rest of this while you talk about that right. Time. But yeah, please. And you were saying this, you do a personal touch with the Patron, but but you do a personal touch with the Patron, but the Negroni Bianco is kind of a classic.
Still not high enough.
Damn it! I'm pretty much jumping right now.
It's maxed out. Well, it's okay. I bet.
Just be careful because it's gonna.
It's like at every other bar that I worked at, I always like leaning down, so it's fine. It's not a big deal. All right, so
also. Wait, was this one was yours on the coaster?
That was me, yeah.
Okay, boom. Sorry. So continue.
Senor.
Salute.
Salute. So good.
I can't believe this actually fits. I guess that tells you how much of a torso and your legs are different, because this is actually working for me, but our legs are twice the normal size of a human's.
So the fun story about the Negroni Bianco was an initial menu. We had
you're making 3, by the way.
Making 3, yes. So the Negroni Bianco was one of our most selling drinks at Mr. Coco, which was made with aviation gin. We had Luxardo Bitter Bianco, and we had Italicus. We cut down a little bit of the sweetness with Verjus Blanc, just a 1/4 ounce, because the bergamot was a little too sweet. But it was such an amazing, refreshing drink, like a classic aperitivo. And, when we had to close down for COVID, right, I kind of had that feel when literally we were putting away all the bottles, like, cleaning everything for the last time, throw away all the open wines, the open bottle, open anything that we were using.
You were drunk.
So what?
So you were drunk. I mean, you're drinking all that open wine, and while you're... I know from personal experience, we just closed BRAMARE. And I'm telling you, I was booked up when I got home. I mean, I Uber everywhere, so always drink and drive responsibly.
Right.
If you're going to drive, have one or less, or none. But the breaking it down, and the wine, red wine, they say 3 days is like a standard for most restaurants.
Right.
But if as a red wine drinker, I don't love red wine after even, I can deal with like 24 hours, not the worst, not too noticeable, especially if it's like a good wine, it might have those tannins holding it. But then after about the second day, I don't feel right serving, especially now, and especially what people expect from wine. there's almost always a $25 glass on the bottle or a $25 glass of wine on the menu. And you're like, that might have been opened up to 3 days for most restaurants. And you're like, I'm kind of pissed if I'm paying $25 and that bottle was open 2 days ago plus, which it sucks because it's a business and it needs to make sense and you need to have profit or the business closes. So you don't want to not help them make money, because if you like a concept, you want it to live there. You want it to always be there. So you have to understand the overhead and what goes into the experience. Some people are greedy, but even with the strip prices are crazy, but cost of living, the real estate, rent, everything's going up. I'm not saying that the strip can't afford to go down a little bit, but at the end of the day, it is out of control on the pricing. But at the end of the day, you do still have to think of like, well, Art District is charging me 12 when Wynn is charging me 24 for the same cocktail. And you're like, well, yes, but Arts District's rent is a fractions on the dollar, like a pennies on the dollar compared to what the real estate costs for the same amount of footprint at a luxury hotel in the center of the strip. So people do not kind of mention the comparison as much when they're talking about
difference is that when crackheads aren't coming out of the bushes.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, and if someone's acting inappropriate, that someone comes up behind them in a suit and removes them.
Well, but here's the thing. When was the last time that you walked inside the Wynn of Angkor?
I want to say oh boy,
We know the valet.
Hey, well, the valet's close personal friend.
How long has it been open? Almost 20 years, 20 plus years, something like that.
Yeah. Yes.
That place looks still brand new. It's probably the only casino on the strip that
Bellagio,
yes. But if I look at it, like
who opened Bellagio?
Wise going through it, people like stores as well, right? Like everything is A+++ over there. It's like top of the line, even from any type of stores that I have. It's crazy. Like I would say about 10 years ago, maybe less. I did an event there, less than that actually. And we were using, back of the house and whatnot. I was there. Bobby G was there. Stella was there as well with us. And we went in the back of the house elevator, the service elevator.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like brand new. You can tell a lot because
that's crazy.
Service elevators, they're just like raggedy as
that's the last thing anyone's like polishing and caring about.
Correct. They look like brand new. It's
that's
amazing.
Wild.
Yeah, it's like top of the line attention to details on that place. It's crazy.
And that's what you can. And that's the thing. You can demand more. Wow, it looks stunning. You can demand more when you're doing such a good product. And that's the thing is why do I spend all this extra time and effort on this is because you want that, but it costs. You want this extra attention. Well, we have porters that go so heavily into this that they're doing the back elevators that no one thinks about consistently, and that's another person hired. That's whereas the casino, like a smaller casino that's saving money, they're cutting those jobs and they're doing one porter for this half of the casino, and one porter for this half of the casino.
Right.
And at the end of the day, you're like, well, does the Wynn really need to, or does, let's say, Ellis Island really benefit from saving a 1 8-hour shift per thing? It just doesn't make sense to not spend that extra money because it does correlate back to you. I'm going to switch back spots, but this looks beautiful, and I'm looking forward to drinking it. Yeah, elegant. And that reminds me of this cocktail does make sense for Mr. Coco because I think of the elegance of that place.
Right. Very neat, like nice, clean, an amazing taste to it. And that was kind of like our go-to cocktail, but also, after closing that, Mr. Coco was very dear to my heart.
I bet.
And because we literally did, even while we were still doing training, they were doing construction. I was asking Francesco, hey, can we go see it? And see how the kind of like the place takes shapes, right? It kind of like getting born, right? So it's one of those things when I go around and do guest shift, right? Like recently I was in Poland and, last year I was down to Zapote in Mexico. Amazing at the Rosewood Hotel. It was such an amazing place.
Zapote, I've never heard of it.
Zapote last year I think was number 11 on the top 50.
Of places to visit?
On the top 50 bars.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's
that's the name of a bar.
Yeah, it's a cocktail bar inside the Rosewood Hotel.
Oh, okay. I don't know enough about that place.
In Mayakoba. It's one of those places that it's like surreal. It's amazing. So I was like,
What do you mean surreal?
it's like you check in. There is not like a hotel. They're like all residents. Like I did my
Condos?
No. Like literally villas on a lagoon that goes into the ocean. I did a check-in. They took my bag in a boat, and every residence has their private dock.
Damn.
Yeah, that's dope.
That is cool. Man, I can't wait to be able to do some of those like really.
I stayed 2 extra days just because I'm like, at this point, I'm going to enjoy it. And literally it was raining the entire time.
Oh.
0 fucks given. I was out in the pool, like getting out I don't care.
Tap dancing out there.
Love it. No, but it was amazing. It's one of those cocktails that I still, bringing around. This one, obviously, it's kind of like a riff of our Negroni Bianco. Is made instead of aviation, or use Patron Silver. But it's, when we're traveling, I did same cocktail in Mayakoba, same cocktail in Poland. And it's just such something that kind of, makes me think of Mr. Coco. It kind of keeps the memory alive in a sense.
Yeah, I mean, it was a special place. I remember Michelle Sim there as well, she's back in town, and she's at, Francesco just opened up Spritz, which was awesome. We went there on the opening night, or the friends and family night for that.
I actually stopped by 2 nights ago for the first time. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Amazing place. Yeah.
Wow. It's beautiful. So it's attached to Carver in the resorts, Carver Steak, which you were saying you helped open.
Yep.
And they always had that back area, but it wasn't being like overly utilized and planned out.
Mm-hmm.
And they have like the fresh garden for herbs.
Well,
stuff.
first it was a little rough at first, right? Because obviously, dealing with the season, like summertime, it's super hot. In the wintertime, it's kind of windy. And also the venue, it's at the corner of the hotel. So we always have that weird wind that comes through. So like, how are you able to, because before we had,
it wasn't closed in.
It wasn't closed in. It was
all bright.
And it was just, we kind of made a temporary, closed out, but just the center side. But it wasn't enough. And they were able, until the, again, permits, this and that, and talk to the president, talk to this, talk to that, and our, the CEO, Sean Christie, is like such a visionary. It's like, it's such an incredible person, So he made it happen, and it was able to fully enclose the patio. And now when I went back, I just looked at it knowing what it was before, right? And knowing what it is now. And I'm like, damn, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So I was very, very impressed.
Yeah, it's vibrant. The whole atmosphere makes you think of a nice, like, summery day. And then you have the bright colors from like an Aperol Spritz kind of is the vibe there. So if you think of that kind of orange, is represented throughout, so it's really bright and kind of energizing in that room, which I love.
Exactly. And then again, you come in there for dinner, right? When people start to know about the Spritz bar, it's such a cool concept, and it makes sense because what? Yeah, why don't we shop a little early? Because you don't need a reservation for that.
Yeah.
Show up, you go at the bar, you have a nice Spritz, there's a beautiful patio, plants, you just have the classic Italian, aperitivo time. Have some chips. They have truffle chips, I think.
It's very French.
Come on, you have to,
Yeah.
And then you go and sit down for your amazing dinner,
Yeah.
So
and they have love. I mean, they're really cool thing that they do is when you're gonna get a steak at Carver, they bring you out the knives, and they're not
choose your weapon.
They're not the same knife. They're very different knives. And,
5 different types.
And they tell you about the knives. Okay, can you elaborate a little more? Make it sound better than I'm.
Oh, now I got PTSD because I had to do inventory of those.
Oh my Lord! And I know those people are always stealing stuff from restaurants.
They have
cuter or the cooler, the more it's getting stolen.
Initially, we partnered up with a company that were making handmade knives, and the idea is when you walk in, you saw our PDR, right? There is the whiskey room in a sense, and then there's the knife room. That's what we call 2 different PDR. It can be all one, but also you can make 2 separate PDR. So the knife room, originally, the concept was you coming in and you can purchase the knives.
Oh, okay, smart.
So obviously you're not going to purchase a knife, I'm going to give it to you, and then you're going to go out and see, you know what I mean? It's not like that. Like, you can purchase the knife and that will ship it directly to your house.
Nice.
So,
liability.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
drunk people walking out, going to gamble with a knife in their pocket.
And nowadays. Oh, Jesus. Seriously. So, and that was such a cool concept, right? And then something happened, and we kind of decided to kind of part away from that idea. But yeah, it's nice. You get service. You start dinner with your appetizer. Then when you mark the table for the main course, you have the captain that comes over, or the server that comes over and presents you the knife box, and you open it, says like choose your weapon, and you have 5 different blades that you can choose. And as well, we had this bespoke cocktail cart that we made, and now it's like such an amazing like tableside experience.
Oh, I know Betty Celsi. I'm probably butchering her last name, but she runs the Amaro cart there, or the old fashioned cart, or
The old-fashioned, yeah.
she runs that, and I know I've seen her pop up on a lot of stories where it's one of those things. Even if you've seen an old fashioned made, there's something nice about having it made right tableside. The tableside presentations can be redundant, but they can also really elevate the moment. So done right.
Done right. Very cool. Yes, a lot of people that have this card, and the card, like, one of those nice things about it that was able to be part of the designing team, right? So like me and Francesco, we kind of sat down and say, okay, how are we gonna build it? How are we gonna do it? And I have all my crazy ideas. I want everything to be super modular with magnets. So if I want to move, but the beater rack, I can move it and it stays there. Yes. I do this, I can do that, and literally calculate everything. Okay, what's the tallest martini that we're having, that we're going to serve? So make sure they have exactly 9 inches space between the 2 trays underneath, because the martini was, 8 1/4 or something like that, So everything was very, very much
thought out,
calculated. Same thing with the drain, from the ice bin. Most of the drains are
the what?
From the ice bin. They have
what about it?
Like the drain is always on the center.
Mm-hmm.
I move it to the side
and have it at a tilt.
I had it dented that goes down to the side on the corner, so I have a thinner tank to get the water that melts.
A thinner,
like a tank? Yeah.
Oh,
like a plastic tank to recoup the water that melts from the ice.
Yes.
And then, so that created more space to put, the sanitation pocket, to put other stuff that we need and stuff like that. Because you have limited space on a cart.
That's the biggest thing that I can say is spacing and fridge and freezer space.
Oh man.
Also, you never have enough, and you have to dictate. Like someone commented that they're like, the old fashioned, like, I forget. I was talking about old fashions with David English, and someone commented that an old fashioned glass, they're like, oh, you should have it a frozen glass. And I'm like, have you been to a bar? Do you think I have room for freezing my rocks glasses when I have to use 100 in 2 hours?
But even in I've seen a lot of places, like not throughout Europe, around the world, but even in Italy, there is like freezers that have a glass. It's a glass door. So you actually open it, and they have like racks in it, and they already have their double old fashioned or their tumbler with the 2x2s in it, and like it's kind of like a display type of thing. So they have racks
rock in the glass, and it's sitting there ready to go. Wow, That's a dream. That's crazy, because I can't even picture a bar spending that kind of space. Because this is an example, right? All the space in this bar is I try to find things to put places in. One day I'll remodel that a little bit, but at the end of the day, where could I put fridge space if I wanted to? And this is pretty much a typical cocktail bar. Isn't too much longer than this.
A typical for a home bar?
No, not like a cocktail bar at a restaurant.
Everyone just casually has 300 bottles.
We don't have this bottles of Drouse. Like, but people always they're like, Jesus Christ, dude, you got a problem. And I'm like, you think I drink all of this? And honestly, I started the podcast to start going through some of this stuff.
You've got a bitter shrine over here, dude.
I do have a bitter shrine. There's a few changes that I've updated a few things that I'm extremely proud of. And BRAMARE, rest in peace. The one nice silver lining to our restaurant closing for whatever crazy things that were in the news. But besides, like, what I had an opportunity to kind of pilfer. It's like raiding the vault of the village that's getting burnt down. And I felt kind of bad, because I was like, listen, I'm going to try to take all this stuff. And the sad thing is that BRAMARE to close, to pay everybody out, like the staff, and because it was closed very suddenly. My birthday was on a Saturday, best night of my life almost. Just all the people that you could hope to see and love were coming in to see me, and you said this nice, like for me, they just did this nice presentation at the end and brought like everyone singing to me. And then I go home, I have a nice birthday on Sunday, and then I wake up for my shift on Monday to my boss going, "Hey, dude, you don't need to come into BRAMARE today because we're officially closed forever." And you're like, I was like, wait, what?
Fuck.
And there's a lot of drama, and but that hurt, and that was devastating because I really did think we were the next. Because Herbs and Rye was always considered like the clubhouse where industry, if you go past a certain time of night and you go into Herbs and Rye, 9 out of 10 guests are bartenders, and the rail and the whole bar top, people standing waiting for seats, don't care that they have to stand. They'll stand behind the people sitting, and
Come on, reverse happy hour. Come on, everybody knows about that.
Exactly. And we were trying to recreate that. I mean, they were doing crazy things. There were certain dishes like a shrimp pasta dish, and everything was like half off pastas. And I'd be like, and I'm like, unintentionally, I don't mean to be a teetotaler, but when I have control of a bar program, I'm always thinking of like cost and, is that responsible for us? Is this make, like, you cost out your cocktails and you try to decide, do I charge for ice cubes? Do I not? Because it costs me 50 cents an ice cube. Do I not charge the guest that and just eat that cost every time? And most places just build it into the cocktail price if you're smart. But then also, whereas like BRAMARE, if you were to say, I want a Cristalino Patron on a big rock, there's no upcharge. But then there's other places you go and it's $5, and I've even seen more, which is insane. For a 50 cent or 60 cent item, to charge more than $5 is, or even $5, I always am like, whoa, dude, that's crazy. But that's the thing. I like
Scottsdale. Like I say, I'm not making any names, but I went to a place, asked for a Patron Repo espresso martini, and I got charged for Patron Repo martini bomb, espresso tini bomb.
So you got 2 bumps. So it was like, so you probably paid
It's super
$15 for like the shot.
Yeah.
So it costs about the same as Corona on the strip.
Oh my God.
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, Corona, what's that, like $9 on the strip?
It's like, no.
12?
It's
Right to the wrong place.
It's crazy. Like there is places that like, and Scottsdale is very different than downtown Phoenix, right? Downtown Phoenix, the cocktail culture, the cocktail scene, it's like, holy shit. It's like blowing up like crazy out of proportion. And it's just super good. There's so many very good cocktail bars. And they start making some noise in the tails. And, obviously you have...
well, they have Arizona Cocktail Week now, too.
Peter and Twisted, right? Like, which is kind of like the place that kind of started all in a sense. It's like 10 years now. Anniversary was the very first bar in Arizona to make in the top 50 list. Then you have like, Little Rituals, then Century Grand.
Little Rituals. Do you know enough about that to talk about it a little bit? Because it's pretty cool, but it's also baffling. Because what do they have? 32 cocktails on the menu?
Something like that.
I met the owner at a Proof Awards 2 years ago, because he was at the Proof Awards 2 years ago. I'm a judge for the Proof Awards, and he was a judge that year, which I was really bummed. I was looking forward to picking his brain this year and asking him to come on the podcast, but he wasn't there. But I was talking to him 2 years ago, and I was like, 32 or 3 cocktails on the menu at all times. That's so much work because you have to think, for even this podcast, we have 3 cocktails that we have on average, and it takes me thought process and everything. Obviously you're a restaurant, so you do this all in a couple days and it's permanent, but the build, the making of the cocktail, making sure that you have every juice, and
To keep that recipe in your head is pretty tough, dude.
now I will say
15 on average.
Or again, and a lot of places they pre-batch as well.
I was gonna say they at
Some for speed, but also for necessity. If you look, for instance, Century Grand, have you ever been?
no
Platform 18 made it to the top 50 list last year as well, and it's like the train. I don't know if you ever seen it on Instagram. It's like literally a train wagon that you go in and you have a bar. It's amazing. So, but they have so many cocktails. There's not little to none back bar. There's like the space over there is literally thought to the millimeter. It's crazy. And they have so many cocktails, so much that goes around into thought process, not just into the, serving aspect to keep it very consistent, but also on how we're going to fit everything to make, 30 to 50 cocktails.
What was it called again?
It's a Platform 18.
Platform 18. Where's it at?
In Phoenix. Sorry,
Phoenix.
I thought it was Scottsdale, but now I'm getting confused. So it's like actually Phoenix.
Well, Phoenix has so many different little. You got that heart is Phoenix, and then you go over here, and they say Scottsdale is like the land of like manicured perfect people. Where I remember talking to like this beautiful woman, and she's like, "I'm considered ugly in Scottsdale," and I was like, "What? This is so crazy." But
Fun fact: coming from Vegas, and let's call the Old Town crowd. And listen, I'm not trying to be pointing fingers or not. People are slightly more pretentious over there.
then Vegas?
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's like regions of an area, and some parts of this town, and some, even venues and stuff. It's very pretentious. Whereas then you have people picture when they think of Vegas, they think of the Strip. There's nothing else that they think of. But this is actually a large town with a lot to offer.
But the thing is this: like I will say, 15 years ago, yes, it was very, very much. You come to Vegas, you come to the Strip. But now think about it, how much we grow outside Vegas. Right now, Vegas is, in a sense, we lost a little bit of the exclusivity, in a sense, because gambling is legal in more states.
Right.
So now, when we used to have, I remember March Madness, like, listen, if I have a broken legs, I'm going to work. Because I'm coming up like with a bank.
Yeah.
March Madness, week 1, holy shit. Like, it was the week that you wait for the entire year. Like,
Yeah, I worked at the pool, and it was always the opening to the season.
and then because the week 1 starts, let's say, Wednesday, then you have St. Patrick's Days, which is right there. And it was just like complete, like at least when I used to work at the Ling, it was a shit show. It was amazing. Like literally.
Yeah, but you had O'Shea's right there too, right?
Yep. The bar was 5 deep from 8 in the morning till 2. It's crazy. So I think that, with that, we kind of lost a little bit of exclusivity, but a lot of things developing not on the Strip. A lot of the new stuff is off the Strip. Like,
Well, that's the secret. That's the trick.
Wolfgang Puck, open up 1228 Main, right? Down.
Well,
the
that's
Strip.
not fully Wolfgang's. That's not technically, that's DR's.
Well, yeah, but he has.
But it's like, DR is Wolfgang, but that's actually adjacent.
a lot of.
Whereas like cuts under the Wolfgang umbrella, 1228 wouldn't be considered part of Wolfgang. But it's that same philosophy.
But a lot of high up names that's trying to kind of venture off the Strip now.
I mean, we were talking about Nudo from Morton's. That Morton's Steakhouse is making a neighborhood bar.
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
meant for the locals. But the locals out here, this is a sophisticated crowd of locals. I mean,
But here's the thing. If you really think about it, on where Vegas is going, is becoming more like, a city in a sense. Before it was just, you think about Vegas, you think about the Strip, nightclub, day clubs, gambling, that's it.
but
and,
now
and fine dining. But now we have professional sports. We have Golden Knights. We have the Raiders. We have the A's that are going to start playing here in 3 years, 2028, something like that.
The A's, the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I love Oakland apparently out here. It's really laying all that.
They're going to play at the, what is that? Not the 51s, but the Aviator Stadium area in Summerlin. Is that where they're going to play until their stadium's built?
I didn't know that.
I'm not sure.
Because I honestly thought that was a smaller field, but maybe I'm wrong.
I thought they were playing up there till the stadium is ready and then they move. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Question. That's a.
But also,
I'm kind of really pissed off where they're putting the stadium.
but
The Tropicana?
It's in one of already the busiest intersections in America, and we're gonna put a freaking stadium in one of the busiest intersections in America.
hopefully they put a monorail.
Forget about moving on a day that. So wait, well, yeah, baseball and hockey intersect, right? So now imagine a day where there's hockey, baseball. I think the Raiders would intersect on some occasion, but
Let's fucking go.
Oh, he's saying like
forget
where you
moving
park.
in this town.
But here's the thing. But even
Got planned for a 45-minute commute to up the street.
and think about it, even like with Mark Wahlberg, that bringing like movie studios now here. Like there's a lot of people think Vegas is done, right? But I think
Done.
Vegas, that's what
Bro, we just ripped this.
the rather.
Oh, the Vegas is dying.
Yeah, because but actually, I don't think is not evolving. It's evolving, right? But in a different direction, what it used to be known for, right?
Well,
So-
that's a great point. People today, the Z generation specifically, drinks and gambles like 30% less than the previous generations. So yeah, you have to rebrand. That's why.
Not if I'm not mistaken, like binge drinking nowadays is four drinks per person. Like 15 years ago, it was about like 8 or something like that. If I'm not mistaken.
Binge drinking is 4?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe the statistic, but those fucking nerds don't know what they're talking about. Freaking, those are scientists, dude. That's binge drinking. Like, I'm like, that's not a problem. That's a solution, dude. 8, 9, that's a problem. You know, that's the difference. If it's a problem,
It's like,
then you have to. It's like if I had 4 drinks in a night, that's a typical night. I don't think that's a problem. I'm just saying, it's oh man, that's a little judgmental from these scientists.
if you reach day 9, we need to talk.
Yeah, 4 or 9 days in a row. That could be compounding interest.
Yeah, right.
Now, don't get me wrong. I totally appreciate that I'm a heavy drinker in this society, right? I have to.
But not a binge drinker, okay?
Yeah, I don't binge, dude. I intend. I'm like, dude, we're gonna have a few
Fast-paced
drinks the
sampler.
entire night. I mean, sadly, I used to have the ADHD, dude. I need to do something. I need to have it. It's gonna be a water. It's gonna get drank fast. It doesn't matter what's in my hand. I'm gonna drink. You know, fast. If I was a cigarette smoker, I would be a chain smoker. I don't like cigarettes. Thank God.
Right.
Thank God. I even like one time I was like, maybe I should try to pick up the habit, and I tried, and I didn't like it. And I was like, you know what? I should try chewing.
Said I'm drinking too much. Maybe I should pick up smoking.
I was like, well, everyone that drinks should have a cigarette in their hand, and I don't agree with that. But I remember there's a period of my life, and I'm not gonna say when, but I was around people that were encouraging cigarette smoking for whatever reason, and I was just like,
What happened?
let me give it a try.
Episode is gonna get canceled.
No,
We hear that a lot.
no,
This drink was phenomenal, by the way.
delicious.
Yeah, and it's like been mellowing out. Still great.
Yeah.
It's got. What are the measurements on it?
It's just equal parts.
Equal parts.
Negroni
One,
Bianco.
one, yeah. But also, I didn't when we full dilution. I kind of keep it very short. So while you're sipping it, you let the 2x2 do the work. So
So just to reiterate, in case we didn't cover it, go over the bill and proportions of that cocktail.
the specific cocktail is 1 ounce of Luxardo Bitter Bianco, 1 ounce of Italicus bergamot liqueur, and 1 ounce of Patron Silver.
I mean, you're not wrong though. Italian. This is the definition of Italian spirit. You have the Italian coin. You have coriander on the base. This is a rose petal and bergamot liqueur. I mean,
I don't know if you remember September 2019.
I drink way too much to remember too much with that vague. You're like, what happened in September of 2019? I'm like, dude, did I do something wrong?
You could say binge fleet.
Well, no, it wasn't a fast sampling situation, but
Oh shit, did I fuck up? I did something wrong.
well, no, I don't think you show up.
That also
That's the
sounds
thing. Yeah, no, you came down. I was competing on the national final for Italicus.
Oh yeah, I was there at Dante's.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
were you there or
Yeah, you asshole.
physically?
I was physically at Dante's. I
Really?
dude. So mentally, I was in New York for the first time. Dude, that was the wildest trip in my life, dude. Talk about
I saw that.
stories. So Jameson from this is where me and Jameson really like understood each other. Jameson from the Sand Dollar, episode 3 or 5. I think it's 3. I think it's episode 3 with Jameson, and which I was so blessed that he was willing to come on right in the beginning of this, which I think is going to be something awesome. But that was a crazy, awesome thing for me. So we're in New York. I think this is after the competition with you. I forgot who else was in there, but there was you and Terry Clark were both in the
30 o'clock. Yep.
and Terry Clark actually, I stayed in his room on the couch or something, or on like a rollout cot or
And
something.
that guy, for the love of God, I love him to pieces. But on that competition, I'm like, bro, you give me anxiety right now.
Why? What happened?
Because I'm like, hey, listen, we woke up in the morning. I guess he had, he wants to get a haircut and whatnot. So I just went to, I'm like, listen, I have a certain things. I try to come in early on the competition venue, and I'm like getting everything right, get everything on point and whatnot. And mine, for me,
Because that chair, I dropped that chair 2 weeks on. So it's chairs.
I thought it was a fucking bird.
Well, it's you rocking, but it's because the chair fell and it's got.
Oh shit, it is me.
Oh, fuck. Watch your headphones. I was hearing it, and I whispered to him earlier. I was like, hey, bro, do you hear that? Like, can you hear that on the mics, or do I need to change that chair?
Oh, what the fuck is this? I just heard it.
Hey, it's you, bro.
I'm like, it's a rock. Yeah. Now roll.
Yeah. It's got knocked over so many times on drunken nights. But so yeah, that chair, story on that squeaky chair. It's got knocked over on so many drunken nights that now it squeaks when someone rocks back and forth too much.
Gotcha.
So there we go.
All right.
Anyways, sorry to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, we 30, like, again, loving to fucking pieces. But I'm like, when I go to competition, I'm like very like,
You're nuts, dude.
yes,
So you're militant about it, like zoned in.
I'm locked in. Like I've always been like that. Even with Flair days, I'm literally packed my Flair bag. It's on point. I know everything that it's in it, exactly the way it's supposed to be. Everything is done. I might forgot socks, underwear, whatever. I'll buy them when I'm there. But when it comes down to work, I'm always like super, super anal about it.
Which also about that competition, which you had a crazy curveball. You do glass cutting, and you cut all the ashtray.
Took me a day, yeah.
And didn't it break on transport?
No. For the national final, everything was good. But then because then I won and I went to the global, and the global was at Paradiso in Barcelona.
That's it.
That's where my olive container that it took me forever to carve out broke down.
And you used let's relive your cocktail a little bit. You used Italicus, because with cocktail presentations for cocktail competitions, they want more than the cocktail. The flavor and the experience of the cocktail is not enough. It needs to be on a platter with a freaking story for why the things are on the platter.
Right.
And this, especially it's like the Art of Italicus, I believe they
Yes.
called it. So they wanted you to have an artistic representation of that cocktail.
Correct.
And make it seem artistic. So like I remember Adam O'Donnell. No, I'm sorry. Adam Carroll was in it one year, and he did like it's Frozen in Time, where he made it into a picture frame, and he put the cocktail into a picture frame
Nice, yeah.
that was like suspended in midair on the cocktail. It was pretty cool. So the cool thing about cocktail competitions is they teach you so much, and they evolve you as a bartender, because you start thinking as far outside of the box as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Plus you're getting that questioned and pestered while you're in the middle of a competition, and you can see when someone's experienced with it. I'm ready now. I'm expecting. I'm like, hey, where's the mic? Bring the mic over. All right, so here's what I'm doing here. But whereas you see someone that hasn't done it for more than once or twice, or if at all, like first timers, it's got to be it's so nerve wracking.
Like, right. But also,
Like, don't talk to me right now. Like, can you please come back? Like that kind of shit.
But that's the thing. It's like, and I think it goes in classic competition, and the same with Flair competition. It's just like, read the rules.
Read the rules.
Read the fucking rules. And a lot of people don't do that. So in a sense that, for instance, in Flair competition, there is so much hidden, in a sense, points that you can gain without doing much more if you fucking read and interpret the rules properly. When it comes down to classic competition, for instance, unless it says, that they want to see some homemade creations or homemade this and that, whatever. For instance, even for the Italicus, I didn't do anything. I didn't do any infusions. I didn't do nothing.
Well, that's kind of your thing, right?
But what is the thing? Prep is easy. I don't have to do nothing besides my garnishes.
I don't know if you heard 50 Cent, but prepping ain't easy.
Oh!
But that's a cocktail name right there.
Right?
It's a cocktail name.
Done. But for instance, like, if shit happens that you get a flag on an Uber or whatever, you get there late, now you have to infuse stuff, you have to do and take away time, you get more anxious, anything, unless it says specifically that they want something creative with homemade ingredients and stuff like that, I'm always not doing it also. And I might be wrong, to be honest, but for me, I always thinking about it, okay, what is the brand that wants to see? Right.
Wait, how do you showcase the brand?
Exactly. But more than anything is like, if they put, money for the competitions and stuff like that, ultimately they want to see something that if they really like it, they can replicate it at scale. Right. So I think subconsciously myself that you might have a better way to place higher or win, even if you have ready to go product and you make a bomb ass cocktail, because at that point they're like, I can take this recipe and I can sell it to bars in Florida. I can sell it to bar in Spain.
That's marketable.
Or whatever. And everything is already made. There is no home infusion that you maybe fuck up or not. Right? It's super consistent at the end of the day.
If someone's lazy, doesn't do the right thing.
If you use the right proportion, the only thing that you can fuck up is the dilution. You can either over dilute it, under dilute it. It's going to change the flavor profile a little bit. But other than that, the product is there. You don't have to do anything else.
I think you mentioned it to me.
And Terry, he was doing cucumber infused rosé or something like that. But here's the thing: we were already there. He's not there. And I'm like,
like you're saying he wasn't on site?
Late as fuck. And I'm like,
Terry, get fucking talked about.
Terry, love you, brother.
Get it together, dude.
And I text him. I'm like, hey man, we're pulling numbers for the order. Come on. And and I told him, hey, listen, he's running late. Unfortunately, something happened. So he's like, all right, cool. Well, listen, we're gonna do the number, and everybody's gonna pick. And he's going to fill whatever is not picked. The number that was not picked was 1. So he went first.
And he showed up late and he needed to infuse something prior to.
But he
I
actually...
can't even remember that performance, but I guarantee it was painful.
But he's actually...
the guy's, he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think that he did the infusion prior. So he was good to go. But here's the thing. And again, I do it I have experience in competitions, and I travel a lot for it, so I don't leave anything to chance. If I go to Japan, the day any type of competition that I always did, the night before, more likely you're never gonna see me out. I'm in my room watching movies, relax. I'm not sitting my ass in a 16-hour flight to go to Japan to fuck it up because I'm hangover as shit because I went out the night before, and now here I am, making a fool of myself.
I feel that.
You're
the consummate professional.
And again, that's not his thing. He was genuinely late because something happened for him or whatnot, right? But, and I told him, hey, listen, I was going 4th. I'm like, my shit is ready to go half hour before.
You're bored almost.
I'm ready, rehearse, everything is good to go. I got my eyes, my garnishes, everything is good. I told him, hey, do you want me to go first? We can switch. I can ask him, no, good. I'm all right, cool. I'll give you, the option if you want to. But, a lot of people, they don't see in, even on Flair, they come up, I had to make 2 cocktails. They go up, they flare, they do the cocktails and simple things. There is one guy, Sebastian Ogwich from France. This guy has a style that I was oh my God. I love this style so much of Flair. And we did this big competition, 5,000 euros in Italy, sponsored by Sky Vodka. And literally, he demolished everybody.
Can you elaborate on what his style is?
It's hard to see. Maybe I can pull some videos of Sebastian, but it's a different style than the normal... if you want to call it American style, is very European, and he kind of adapted it on his own. But it's super smooth, amazing transitions, and what he does pretty much, he finished the whole routine. Cocktails are done, and again, he missed the meet and greet, the briefing before the competition, and we told him, hey, listen, there is certain key things, and he's like, no, I got it, cool. So he went up, demolished everybody. The only thing that he didn't do was he served, the rule says you need to serve your cocktail in a napkin, finished. If not, it's a missing cocktail.
You need...
it's kind of like work, right? You put down a napkin to a customer's and you serve the cocktail when it's done, right?
Napkin marks that you said, basically they have something coming.
Right,
and then when you're done is setting it on that napkin and say, right. Enjoy.
Because it's part kind of as an ingredient if you see it in a competition. So you put down a napkin, you finish your cocktail, and you serve the cocktail.
And then he didn't put it on the napkin?
No, he put the napkin, shake the martini, if I'm not mistaken, put the empty martini glass on the napkin, and then pour the cocktail on top.
I see.
That was...
Don't build on top of because you could have a splatter and that you make a mess.
For the judges, interpreting the rules, that was a missing cocktail because all he did is serve it an empty martini.
Health card demerit.
So that was
Whoa.
50 points.
That is very, I mean,
So he went from first, like solid first, like everybody go home and think about what you did, to I think he ended up fourth or fifth.
damn though. That's how far ahead he was that he didn't even basically get a cocktail grade.
I shit the bed so bad, and I still took third. I literally I did.
Shit the bed because I knew the glass broke, but
no,
how did you shit the bed?
I shit the bed because I have a weird thing when I go up on stage and I prep the station. So I usually don't look anything like anybody on the crowd, and I just prep my station the way I want it, the way I need it. And when I'm done, I just look up and I go from left to right and I look the entire audience. And that feel that I get from them, I kind of know if I'm gonna literally kick ass and then probably win or brace.
I probably won.
Because shit it's about to fall apart. So and that competition, I dropped way too much. I dropped so many bottles that I was like,
damn, that's crazy for you.
It was
let's talk a little bit about that.
It was
right?
a yard sale.
Let's talk about your history in Flair competition.
Yeah, what got you into Flair?
So the Flair,
Well, he talked a little
my
bit
brother
earlier.
My brother's the guy that kind of, taught me a little bit, but also kind of put me the Flair into in my brain in a sense. And then, we just practicing. I really, really liked it, and didn't really like working with a family in an ice cream shop. It's cool and everything, but it wasn't my thing. I wanted to do something wild, exploring, figuring out something on my own. And we went to a competition in Bonn, North Germany. And we surprisingly, there's everybody, right? Like all the biggest European influencer in Flair. And I still remember Ian Bartos, another amazing, super smooth style Flair bartender from Holland. He from the Netherlands, and he was already on one of the top guys. So he was doing the commercial for the competition, and he was doing 4 bottles on top of a cube where the go-go dancers are, because it wasn't into a nightclub.
Okay.
So they were just filming him, right? The nightclub is closed during daytime, and he would just do it. I'm looking at him. I'm like, I have my Flair bag at that time, first competition. I have 2 shakers and 2 bottles, plastic bottles, on a
training bottles.
Yeah, on a grocery bags. That was it.
Wow.
And I see people coming in with their own store and pours, their own crates, and so I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? And again, internet was not a big thing because my first competition was, I think, early February 2002 of that.
Damn, so that's only a couple years after you got into the game.
Yeah.
That's good.
But that's the first competition that I went up there. And again, internet was so slow for me. I didn't even got the rules for finals. I only got for
you didn't have internet connection?
Yeah, at home. It took me 20 minutes to load up my emails, to be 54K. It was the speed was crazy. So we did a competition. You had to do working Flair and exhibition Flair. And then final was exhibition Flair only. Did not got that email. So it was me and my brother, and I went up. He kind of did okay. And I went up and I somewhat killed it. My very first competition, I had 0 drops. That if you really know my history, is either I fucking shit the bed or I do very well.
Wow.
But I had 0 drop in a very first competition. I had a time of my life. I'm like, it's fucking great. And then they called the finalist, and I'm looking at my brother. I'm like, what? There was a guy, Marco Cognati, which he was the lead Flair person for Italy.
He's on store in country?
Yeah, he was invited.
I am Italy's Flair guy.
There was a competition in London, the long-standing competition, world championship, world renowned in the whole world. If you know Flair and you ask somebody about Roadhouse, they know exactly what they're talking about.
Well, yeah, Patrick Swayze, dude.
And
Roadhouse.
And he was the only one, because it was invitation at that time, and he was the only one invited from Italy to compete. Every month from January till October, they were doing a qualification from countries. Like you have European qualifications, you have Asia qualifications, you have American qualifications, and then the last weekend of November, you do the world final. So he was the only one invited. And on my very first comp, I don't know what happened. I beat him. So he didn't make the final. And I was already like in it. And I'm like, okay, cool. What's going to happen from now? You know, my brother's like, hey, the rules for finals are just Flair only. I'm like, fuck, what am I doing? And he's like, just fucking go for it. I'm like, all right, fuck it. Who gives a fuck? So I went up and I just half of a routine improvised and half of was just trying new stuff and whatnot. But it was 4 finalists. I ended up 4th in my very first competition, but I made the finals, right? And everybody was really talking like that, you know, that kid, if he stays on track, you know, he already beat a lot of very higher up names, you know what I mean? So, and from there, it kind of like sparked to me. And after that, it was just, you know, I went home, social life.
How old were you at this point?
I believe I was just 18,
Just 18.
19
Was the drinking age?
in Europe.
Yeah.
Well,
Reasonable.
on paper, not, don't know, but I think,
Wait, on paper?
do we have
What's
it?
this-
Yeah.
What's it on paper? I didn't realize how mafioso Italy was.
You showed up for this?
Like, wait, on paper or like what are we really giving them?
So were you competing against 12-year-olds?
Yeah, no, there is
Talented 12-year-old.
very talented 12. No, like there is like all the bartenders, they were like, you know, in their 20s and whatnot, at least. But I was the youngest one for sure. But like drinking age, I think on paper is 18 if I'm not mistaken. But everybody at 16, they're already ordering drinks at the bar.
I love the on paper comment. That is amazing.
I mean,
So nobody cares.
no.
Okay.
But
What are you, a kid?
nowadays,
You
maybe.
have a fucking drink?
Yeah, nowadays maybe. But back in the day,
Grown ass man,
You know.
14 years old.
whatever.
He had a long day at the farm. Give him a
This
drink.
guy, he's been working at his family's
Ice cream shop.
ice cream shop in Germany
Listen.
since 12.
Look at this guy, pale, like making banana split all day. Like, give him a break.
You've got calloused hands at 15. Jeez, that's a rough hand. He's like, I've had a long life.
And
So 18.
yeah, and that was their start. Yeah, and so fast forward, I'm started like legit entering competitions and stuff, and I literally got like weekends is no more going out with my friends, you know, like get high or you know drinking or whatever. At that point, it's just like, and they were kind of like not mocking me or bullying me, but they're like, "What are you doing? Why you make it? Why you stay home being a clown? What are you doing? You know, throwing bottles for what? You know?" And I'm like, again, where I'm from in Italy, it's 1,600 people. I don't even like, it's a fraction of a city where I'm from. So there's one cop. When I was pulling wheelies and stuff like that, he literally don't even follows you. He just shows up at home later because he knows where you live. So that's how small it is. So, and a lot of people, they're like very close-minded where I'm from, so they don't see it. And I saw early on the potential and the big pictures. And then I was able to come the very first time I did my triple challenge. My first competition in the U.S. was in 2004, November 2004 in Panama City Beach. And
That's
And-
Florida?
yeah, and I wasn't 21. Like again, me and my brother, we show up here, didn't know any better. I went out, tried to order drinks. It's like no, because in Florida you can't get in if you're not 21, but they will stamp you. Like I have no stamp on both hands, different wristband. I felt like, what the fuck is this? I'm in jail, you know? And then, so my brother was ordering drinks. We go in the bathroom, pass him on the top of the stall. And, you know, we were practicing for the competition. So we were buying the booze. And what I was doing is taking home the Burger King cup, making a big ass Long Island in it and just walk out with that. And, you know, that's it. So faded. Walking with this thing, but and I did my competition, and again made the final, and I took 6th place, and everybody was like, "Oh my god!" Like, and the next day, I'm like, I went to the organizer, didn't know anybody, right? And I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm getting paid for it." That's crazy because the guy's like, "Did you get your money?" I'm like, "What money?" You know, it's like, "Dude, you're in the final. You make money." I'm like, "What?" So I went with my broken ass English. Dario, 6th place. Money? you know? It is, oh, yeah, you're Czech. Boom, boom, boom. And it's like, how old are you? 19? It's like, shit, don't tell that to anybody. You know? And then I figure out this whole thing at 20. Then I was back home and I won the Italian championship. And part of the package was I won a full sponsorship for Legend of Bartending, which was invitation only competition in Vegas, which it was the biggest world championship, if you want to call it, for Flair bartending, right? So you do multiple rounds. You have a pour test, 10 drinks as fast as you can, and then measure if you pour correctly or not. You have a speed round, and then you have a Flair round. If you make the final, then you do the same thing. Pour test, speed round, a blind working Flair round, and then you do another Flair round at night, like the last big show, right? And so I won the sponsorship for that, but I couldn't because I wasn't 21. So I had to wait a year, and then I got invited. So at 21, we flew to Vegas. I knew Christian Delpech at the time because he came. We were messaging and whatnot through Francesco Leone, another amazing Flair bartender.
How many Francescos are in this game? You know what I mean? Am I going to name my next kid Francesco so he can be a celebrity? Or
The Michael of
You should.
Francesco Giambrone.
Hey, Bopitty Boo Boo.
Like he came out of the womb shaking a cocktail.
Done. And you know, I came over to Vegas and I didn't have the right equipment. We're not first time ever in Vegas, right? Already Christian picked me up from the airport. He was living, I guess, kind of like north side. So I remember vividly driving from the airport to the 15.
getting shot at.
No, actually, it was still nice. It's we were driving on the 15, and I was on the windows, like looking at the Vegas Strip, right? I'm like, what the fuck? And then, you know, the competition was not in 3 days. For the next 3 days, all I saw was his garage. Like I literally just woke up, practice, and that's it. And that was but like just 21, first time big stage world championship. No idea how. I just nailed everything, and I ended up taking second. And at that point, you know, the name kind of blew up a little bit, and I was back 2 months later for King of the Ring, another big competition in Vegas, and I started traveling nonstop.
Is that still going on, King of the Ring, or that's gone?
Everything pretty much. They kind of took a dive, you know, between the recession 2008, you know, a lot of competitions went away, and then they tried to keep, you know, reviving them and whatnot, but the sponsors are not there. And I'm like, right now,
Until the last 12 months.
but I got the what was it, very long time, like 5-6 years ago, something like that. My the organizer for Legend of Bartending, Ken Hall, he was asking me, he's like, hey man, what do you think if I bring Legend back? I'm like, that would be dope. But I'm like, even though if maybe first place is like $2,000, I'm like, no one will come because of level. Because the problem is, to get ready for that competition, I took a month off to win it. Like, it's a month of grind. Like, you wake up in the morning, we were starting 10 a.m., 10 to 1, we were doing pour test, warm up, because it's the easiest round. Pour test, and then we go grab a quick lunch, grab 8 to 10 ice packs, go home, and then we do speed round all afternoon. Speed round, you have a master list of 48 drinks divided by categories. You have from multi-liquor tall, multi-liquor rocks. So you go from a toasted almond to a Long Island, Long Beach, like cocktails like that. Nothing too crazy, no Ramos or anything like that. You get like a shooter. You have a blended drinks. You have a beer. So you have like 60.
You have like a blender on the bar?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you say toasted almond, dude?
Yeah. Oh, that's such amazing.
Did you toast those almonds, Beth?
Fuck yeah, man.
That's an old drink. That's an old school
That's the thing. We make actually the drinks, cream, blended, like obviously to cut corners, to cut like expenses. Like at first we were doing, we get the bottles, use the vodka or the rum to do the blended drinks. But then after that, we were just getting alcohol at the CVS, and we would do like, usually the right ratio is about a quarter of a bottle. If you look like, let's say, a bottle of rum, you put a quarter of alcohol and you fill it with water, and it's enough to blend the ice and everything, make it a nice blender. So we were training, because obviously they take a dime to see if the level of the cocktail is right. If it fits between the dime, it's good. If it's too long, and it's short pour. If it's inside the dime, then it's a long pour, and you get deducted for it. So you really have to be precise, and it takes a lot to practice. And nowadays, you bring it back, and people that are they're not able to make that type of money. There's no one.
What was the prize when you had competed for this?
When I won, so first place was 10,000, and then you have side thing like the best two in, let's say, speed round. They go against each other on a head off type of thing, right? On stage during the final to take like a break from the thing. Same thing with the pour test. So you can win extra 1,500 or 2,000 or another 1,000 or this or that. So, you can make.
It was really worth it.
It was worth it, but when you take, a month off work, plus if you do it seriously, like for instance, they changed one of the main sponsors was Sky Vodka. Now we were doing all different drinks with Sky. So you have regular Sky, you have cherry Sky, you have vanilla Sky, you have, raspberry, you have citrus, you have all different type of flavor. And you won the real deal because when you go up there, like my speed run, I think the fastest I ever went was like in practice was 56 seconds to do a blended drinks, a multi-liquor tall, a multi-liquor rocks, a shooter, all of those finish. But you need to have that eye-hand coordination, but also you need to see where everything's like the way it is in the competition. So literally just to when they changed it from Sky to Three Olives, because that was the main sponsors, right? And most of the drinks were different type of Three Olives.
Those bottles are way taller, right?
Way taller. I spent $2,000 just in vodkas, like just to practice. And then I was just taking the real vodka that is in it, fill up Captain Morgan bottles, because those we were getting a lot from different bars, right? Wash it, clean it, have nice, put the vodka in it, write it on it, and then we were drinking those on house parties and stuff, But, those type of like thing takes time, takes money, and you have to kind of like it's a lot. Like even when I was in my relationships with that, I was not like.
That's serious commitment, though.
They start seeing that you're not paying too much attention because you wake up, you have one thing and one thing only in your head. And I'm like, listen, I changed my diet, which it doesn't mean shit, but mentally I thought it was good for me. I was eating tilapia because
Bro, you're like a boxer about to go into a boxing match.
Yeah.
For 6 weeks, freaking eye of the tiger.
I was just eating fucking tilapia because I read somewhere that helps your brain memory and stuff. So I'm like, well, this is going to help me go faster and remember all the drinks and shit. I'm like, probably didn't do shit, to be honest.
Dude, I need to step my game up so much.
Did you ever hear about pilots eating so much carrots so that turns their skin orange? Because carrots help your eyesight.
Really?
And they're required to have excellent eyesight.
Right.
They would eat carrots constantly.
Honestly, if I was artificial carrot at this time right now, if we were going back in the days, I would probably like drink like a gallon of lion manes, like mushrooms, everything that could help my memory. I'm like, let's go.
I mean, I'm going to definitely feature that on a podcast in the future, the lion's mane. I don't want to get into it because we're running out of time, which is the problem. 90 minutes is the ideal time for people watching. But man, once you start cracking into stories, that there's so much that I always run out of time. But for the sake of time,
right,
I do want to talk about a few things. One, what we're enjoying, we always talk about 3 cocktails. The Mezcal Penicillin.
Yes.
It's a riff on a riff of a riff. So so we use, which again, I don't want to blow you up too much, but you brought so much cool shit for this bar to have. I am so proud of some of the things you brought. I mean, this extra Añejo Patron is going to get tapped up. I'm telling you.
Yes, we are.
These illegal mezcal. You gave me the whole line.
Why are you looking at me and you say illegal?
Whoa, dude, whoa.
No, I'm not trying to point fingers, but
Dude, no.
You say you got your passport?
Yeah, you're passported up, dude.
I'm good.
You let the officials know you're good.
Yeah.
I reached out to some of the, conservative homies, and I was just like, dude, listen, he's one of us. He's good.
5K later, I'm good.
You said $25,000.
How much it costs to get citizenship?
2 visas, a green card, and the citizenship. Yeah.
You had to pay for that all at the same time?
No. So laws keep changing, right? So when I was doing this process, in order to apply for a green card, you need to have at least 2 working visas. So my first visas was sponsored by Kahunaville, which the bar that I worked for and represented for competition. So they fully sponsored me for that. Super grateful. And that was for 2 years. Then I renew it, and that was for 3 years. And right after the renewal, that's when I could apply for the green card.
Because even though it was the same place, it's a second application because it's like a 2-year limit.
Yeah. Well, they can decide if you can get it up to 3 years.
You should stay in this country 2 years.
We think we like you.
Something like that. Well, you know what? Well,
Ugly ass fucking degenerate comes in and they're like, you got 3 days, dude.
yeah. No,
You're out of here in 3 days, or we're coming to find
they
you.
might look at your passport pictures like, you know what? We'll give him 2 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I don't know if that is actually
after
the
that,
you
dude,
know.
I'm telling you.
I don't know if that is actually true or not.
Already dapper, dude. I'm telling you.
I
It's
tried.
pretty cool. Hey, listen, I get it.
The suave.
Self-expression matters, but you want to get by.
I said I use Colin cubes.
I just
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, we're gonna make a Cuba Libre. He's like, well, let's not get too pretentious, but he's like, but yeah, you
talk about reverse osmosis ice cubes. Good.
he did have.
No,
So you just finished up recently with your citizenship,
no, I got it in 2016, I think.
but it was
Heard it
a
here.
process.
He's good.
So
It was a process, like, and that's the thing, like, it's a little outdated in my opinion, because after the second visa, I applied for the green card right away. And you get a temporary for 10 years. I got a temporary green card after a year, which takes a year to become a full one, if I'm not mistaken. So, and after
He's
that,
full on green carded. Now.
you have to do 5 years, and after that, you can apply for the citizenship. So as soon as I was get ready to go, Mark, instead of waiting, the full length of my green card, let me get out of the way right now, right? So I did my citizenship application, and I got a stock like that of paper that came that you had to fill out. 80% is fairly easy. They're like, hey, have you ever been affiliated or working with, from 1944 with the government and the Nazis and stuff? I'm like,
So yeah, it is a little outdated.
I'm like, bro.
What touch?
All right.
Maybe not so relevant.
But I get it, because there is.
What's your feelings on Hitler? You're
Well-
like, I'm pretty sure
No, but
they all don't like the guy.
if you
But it's like,
if you think about it, I can
I
give
don't care
my
anymore.
dad citizenship. If he comes over, there's gonna have, I guess, a temporary green card. If I'm not mistaken, I could be totally wrong, for 6 months, and then he's gonna get the citizenship, but he's gonna get through the questionnaire, and he's 80, so obviously
those
cannot-
questions could apply to him.
Correct, and I get it. But there was one question that I really got stuck for a hot minute, because I was lucky enough that with Flair I got to travel.
They're like
the world.
Topo Chico or Seagram's.
No, they're like, list every country that you have been outside the United States for more than 24 hours in the last 10 years. Mind that when I applied for my citizenship, I was 6 pages shy on my second passport to fill them up with stamps.
Some people live so well.
So,
Immigrant.
and there is
believe- no.
and literally, I kept it. I stamp.
I've been to 3 places out of this
what the
country.
fuck? I'm fucked, But then I'm like, okay, I used to travel a lot with Delta, so I called Delta. They was helping me out. They gave me 2 years of history.
Wait.
I called Orbitz, and they're like, hey, yeah, we can give you 4 years of history. So I was able to narrow it down to almost 6 stamps that have no idea, because you can literally not read it. And I'm like, well, I'm giving up. Fuck it. I'm going to send it. If it goes, it goes. If not, it's been great.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And end up, they did me a long question, like, hey, where you been when I went in to do my interview? Because then you have 100 questions to answer. Which,
Can you give me some
Like
examples?
interrogation, right?
Yeah.
Where you sit down one-on-one and they're
yeah,
asking,
101. And then more.
How do you feel about the Communist Party?
Well, some of them, they're super easy. What happened 9/11? Right.
But
Tower set.
I would be like,
mysteriously.
I'd be like the wrong guy. I don't get my citizenship.
And
I'd be like, well, the
They
government.
can
did it.
go into more into the government, the layer, the Pentagon, and this.
They're like,
as
do you
we
think the
have-
government did it? You're out. You're gone.
Yeah.
You're like, no,
But they asked me, it's like, where you?
it had nothing to do with 9/11.
But then they asked me, like, where have you been in December 2015? I'm like,
Like, hopefully drunk.
I was like, oh, fuck. Well, was trying to think about it. I went to like literally think about. Okay, I went home in Italy, Venice. Like, okay. I went to Cayman Island. Okay, cool. I went to where I'm like, that's it. It's like, are you sure? I'm like, oh fuck. Like, now I'm like, okay. And then I think about, and then thank God it came to me. And finally, I was like, yes, I went to Japan. And it's like, I landed in Fukuoka, and then I stayed there for 5 days because I was there actually for a competition. So I'm like, it kind of came back to me in life. But right there on the spot, it's a little different.
Nerve-wracking.
Right? And I'm
Also, did you fit in well in Japan? You're a little tall.
oh, they looked me like I was like a green dog. Like, wait, hello?
Thank God. See, you've seen it here, folks. He's extremely tall. I'm not that short. 5'10" is average, dude. I don't understand this. I'm baffled at your height as well. I would look at you as a green dog.
I just heard from everybody that if you're tall in Japan, you stick out.
A little bit, yeah.
And then they're not afraid to let you know.
When we were going on crowds, they did not lost me. Everybody know where I was. I can tell you that. Like, it's literally, in the subway, I had to stay like this. Because, like, the roof is here. Like, it's crazy. However, I mean, I hit my head like 5 times a day when I was there. And I went multiple times. But, like, oh my God, Japan, I see myself live there.
You could live there.
Oh my God, it's amazing. It's amazing. Tokyo is so clean.
that was going to be what I referenced. I'm like, clean, right?
Everybody is so respectful. They got that.
It's a high trust society is what
to a next level.
I hear high trust society. And that's the thing, right? Your citizenship is, and that's relevant even in America where it's the location, right? In this part of the town, you go to the gas station and all the oils and everything are on the shelf in the middle of where the pumps are, available to be stolen, but no one's going to steal it. Versus you go to somewhere else in this town, nothing is not locked up, and that's every town.
Right.
But then some towns are worse than others. Some towns there isn't as many nice areas, which sucks. But I, for the sake of time, because this is one of those things that happen, is there's so much to go over, and you're one of those people that has so many stories that I really care to hear about.
Episode 2.
Dude, you're definitely coming back. I feel like, don't get me wrong, I hope the people that enjoy the podcast already, that they're looking forward to the return of a lot of our guests, because there's so much to cover. And once you cover your history and sort of bars, there's still so much about life. And again, the reason I think this is a relevant podcast is because these are lessons, but from what I've learned from being a bartender, I have learned about human nature in general. I'm approached as a lot of people, psychologists. They ask me for advice on things because of just how much people I encounter. I encounter politicians, celebrities, down to people that don't have money and can't really afford. They leave you a tip that says, "Sorry, I'm broke. I don't have a tip for you." So I've taken care of everybody multiple times, and I've gotten that more than once. And it's just like understanding where the world is. We kind of, because not everyone drinks, but as far as the grand scheme of things, the more people drink than don't. And so you're going to encounter people from every walk in life. Mm-hmm. And that lends itself to somewhat of an understanding of how human nature is. Obviously, I'm not a wizard. I don't know the things that you would get taught in college, but when it comes to me, I don't even really believe in college compared to personal experience. I think more important than a college is when you get out of high school, before you go to college, you should have to do a year in a restaurant.
Quick story.
We got 8 minutes, and I got to talk about the spirits that we poured.
So
this cocktail.
Speaking of like going, like talk to people, and whatnot, when I go home, right? Because again, it's a very small city.
Yeah.
Now that, internet is a thing and whatnot, they see what I do and whatnot. So even the priest back in the days, when I go home, is like, oh my God, Dario has to come and do a show. So
priest, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
I love that.
I had
like a Flair show.
Yeah, they did a. So the kindergarten, I think, in the elementary school, they did a field trip to the retirement home.
Retirement.
Retirement.
Fair.
Yeah. What's it called? What do you guys call it here?
No, you got it right.
Retirement.
I am hard of hearing.
So
You have a strong accent.
they have an auditorium, right? And at 9 a.m, they asked me to go there and do a show for everybody. And then I had to go talk to the
priest.
The whole village is what you're saying.
pretty much. And then I had to go do a talk to the elementary school because my teachers were like, hey, would it be nice if you come, give him a little bit of.
Because you're going to love getting adults hammered.
Yeah,
Wait, no, with a
it
bit.
was alcohol.
The way I majestically fucked up in their
Different.
eyes is that I walked in, all these little kids, hi, how are you? Yeah, I used to go in that class, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, listen, kids, always listen to the parents, right? At least.
But how cool am I?
No, I'm like,
I was juggling bottles.
no. I'm like, well, at least.
I've ever met. I want to start drinking now.
No. I'm like, and I look at the teachers, and I'm like, I didn't rehearse nothing, right? I just walked in, whatever, who cares? And I'm like, and I'm looking at them, I think I'm doing a good job. All right, cool.
Kids are an easy crowd. I'm gonna wing it.
And they're like, at least make it to high school, and then travel, go see the world.
Just
like
something.
I'm like, just go travel, pack your bags, and go. Because I looked at how I did it. Because when I come to America, I had 2 bags, $1,500, and I knew, thank you, you're welcome, Jägerbomb, and I made it happen. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, education, sure. Nowadays, let's be real, is college really a thing anymore? Not really.
Because it's so broad. Because that's why trade schools are a thing. It's like, does this interest you? Here's this skill. Learn this skill.
Well, here's the thing. This
skill will benefit you for X amount of years, the rest of your life.
When I told them that, and I literally kind of looked to see the teachers, and the way they were looking at me, it looked like when I was back in that school that I was getting yelled at. I'm like, oh, fuck, I fucked up. I'm like, oh, maybe you should go to college here, huh? I'm like, didn't work for me, but maybe it works for you. So,
Maybe you work in ice cream.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. I am very capable of a lot of jobs that have wanted me. And I remember I was interviewing with Hoteling, and it's mostly phone interviews because it's a national company or it's an international company. And Hoteling was like, oh yeah, dude, this is awesome. You're like, we're ready for you. You're going to get it was basically a shoe-in. They were like, you're awesome for this. This is going to be perfect for you. And they're like, I was like, oh, and then like an idiot, I was like, just so I make sure I have all the criteria, what do I have to make sure that I have for my resume? And they're like, just, college degree, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like,
but also,
ooh, college degree. And now if I had just shut up and didn't even say anything, I didn't address it. If I didn't address it with her, I might have gotten that job because I was like, oh, a college degree. I don't have a college degree.
Listen, it's the first thing. I work on a supplier side now. So the first thing that I disclose right now when we talk about things, I'm like, hey, listen, okay, career, talking about this and that. I don't have a fucking college degree.
I don't think it's relevant to our industry.
Exactly, but I know what I'm doing. But here's the thing. There is an amazing documentary about UFC.
Ooh.
It's called 3 Letters, 3 Guys. And it's talking about UFC, 3 letters, and Dana White, Frank, and Lorenzo Fertitas. And Frank said it like amazing. He's like, I could have hired the best MBA, Harvard, whatever you want to call it. UFC would have failed. The only one that was able to pull this off was Dana White, because Dana White is street smart. Doesn't go by the rules of college or this or that.
He knows people. He understands people on a visceral level. There's one thing to go to a college course and understand what marketing to the masses means. And there's another thing to understand your market and go, that's when Hoteling loved me, right? We're totally, I was hired. And then I told them, I'm like, oh, I don't have a college degree. They were like, oh, immediately, no, sorry. That's one of the things. Campari, same thing. I said, look, Campari was about to hire me. Campari is amazing. If there's anyone that should have ever worked for Campari, I'm obsessed with their whole product line. So it was a perfect match. And then they're like, book that college degree. And I'm like, well, no, but why would I need that to talk about something I know better than the average human being in this world?
A lot of people, unfortunately, especially on say big suppliers and whatnot, they rely too much on that. And also
to their fault, to their detriment.
Like at the end of the day, we are still in the hospitality service industry.
That's it. That's
So
what-
you need to know.
you got to know what you're
down to
selling.
the ground. Excel sheets, yes, are great. You need numbers. You totally you have to have numbers. But most of the stuff, like to make it work, comes down to how I'm able to talk to you.
Okay, we're gonna rapid fire right now because we are out of time. So I want to talk about 3 things, and then we're gonna call it a day, and we're gonna salute and say goodbye.
All right, let's
But so first off, I poured your Patron Cristalino, which I have not even seen or experienced.
Okay.
Very interesting. Can you, in 1 minute, describe and talk to me about this? 1 minute. You're on a time frame.
1 minute. Oh shit. Okay. Cristalino. So a lot of people think it's a class. Like, am I calling when I come at the bar? I want like a reposado or a añejo, and a lot of people they come straight to the bar and ask, "Hey, what kind of Cristalino do you have?" Cristalino is not actually a class. It's just a filtration process to an aged tequila. Okay, so means that for us, most of the distillery they do either like a reposado. We are doing actually an añejo. So our Cristalino is aged between 13 to 15 months in a 5 different type of barrel, which then is blended together, run through charcoal, American oak, charcoal filtrations to remove the color and impart a little bit more roundness and softness to the tequila. Wow, less than a minute. What's up?
That was amazing. Fuck, dude.
That was like 20 seconds.
We speed that up. It's
Done.
crazy. What it's all, folks. Excellent. And I have my own like theory on Cristalino, and I think that some companies sometimes it can be a band-aid because it's just like Jack Daniels.
Right.
Jack Daniels is a bourbon until it's on the way to being a bourbon, and the only thing that makes it not a bourbon is that they filter it through charcoal.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's filtered through its own charcoal because they take a pallet of wood and they douse it with high proof Jack Daniels. They douse it with that. They set it on fire. That's the charcoal that filters their own product. So as far as like how something's made and how something's thought out, it's very in depth. And there's
What
nothing.
a bomb ass fucking thing too. They got.
That's called the maple. That's called the Lincoln.
They
Lincoln
said,
County.
you know what I think about your bourbon rules, motherfucker.
I mean, straight up. That's the thing. If they didn't filter it through that,
Something
and
like
then
that.
if Jameson did it, or
Tennessee whiskey.
Jack
Suck our
Daniels?
dicks.
Boom.
if Jack Daniels did exactly the same thing but didn't maple charcoal filter,
They'd be whiskey.
it would be a bourbon.
They're the largest cooperage in the
when-
U.S.
It's kind of like Plymouth gin.
Once you maple charcoal filter and you're in the state of Tennessee, now you become a Tennessee whiskey, which is its own denomination in its own category of a specific American spirit that you can only make in America. But what's funny is that it's a West African process that Uncle Nearest, George Green, I believe, was the guy that created it, and he brought that.
Oh, you got
process-
20 seconds, brother.
20 seconds left. Okay,
But,
and then illegal. We put this in there, but this is something special that he brought.
Ilegal.
Ooh, yeah, illegal.
Yeah, it's a Ilegal
Yeah.
Caribbean cask. So it's a reposado. When Bacardi bought Illegal, they decided to do their very first collaborations, and we're out of time. Right.
That's okay.
Okay, so they is that kind of very first kickoff collaboration after they purchased the brand, and pretty much it's a reposado aged in 6 months between used and new American barrel, and then they finish it for 2 months in Bacardi Ocho barrels. So it's just a little teeny tiny collaboration between the two brands.
Beautifully done. Hey, you have to come back. We cut this. That's the thing. If I had 5 hours, we could do 5 hours, but then we'd be extremely wasted and you wouldn't appreciate it. But all right.
I mean, on my side, you will not understand anything. So subtitles.
I thank you so much. I appreciate what a bunch of beautiful gifts you brought this bar. I'm happy to add to the collection.
Thank you for the time.
They have a special spot on this bar now. Thank you, bro.
Appreciate you, man.
We'll see you soon.
Cheers.